Greetings to the crowd of the Scuttlebutt podcast, I guess is what we called it. Broadcasting live from the training center on board the ship, Battleship Iowa, that is, if you did not know. It is LA Fleet Week. We are on day 4 of the public days, and somehow we rallied the troops in here today. And we've got none other than to my left, well, 2 over from my left, is Captain Roundup. He joined us again. And then I'll introduce our special guest momentarily. We've got the Ice Queen on the producer board. Although you're the keel hauler, I think is what we went with. But I kind of like Ice Queen.
I like Ice Queen.
I
Ice
think our
Queen works
nicknames are
pretty
still
well.
settling in.
Ice Queen.
So?
Then
My sophomore year high school teacher used to call me that because I was late for school every day because I was coming from the rink. He was like, "Yeah, the Ice Queen's here."
I kind of like Ice Queen.
I like Ice Queen.
I think
Ice Queen works.
Ice Queen. Any listeners want to have ice cream with the Ice Queen? Read podcasts at labattleship.com. Then we got Nuts and Bolts across from me.
Yep.
None other than the chief engineer, Mike Getcher. And I forgot what we called you. I call you Token, but I think there's something else.
Yeah, it's better. There's got to be something better than Token.
Token veteran.
Yeah. We have more veterans coming on, so I can't just be the Token veteran anymore.
No. And then we're joined by our special guest today. I don't know what I can nickname him. I've had a chance to work with him for years, so I'm not going to nickname you yet.
None of those can be said on the podcast anyway.
But Brian ORourke from Navy Region Southwest, the lead planner on the Navy side, and we're right here in the middle of Fleet Week, and we decided to drag him into the room.
And drag they did.
Yeah, in drag? Oh, sorry.
No. I said and drag.
Wow.
Let me
Again, that's a whole other
get
podcast.
rid of that Philadelphia accent here for a second. And drag they did.
And drag they did. So this is probably going to be a brief podcast. I think we're recording a couple today to try to knock through, and obviously we have quite a bit to do out there on the Fleet Week footprint. But Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit who you are and what you've done? I think you said you have like 2 years working with the Navy at this point, is what I heard earlier.
Yeah. So 2 years. So this is my actually 39th year with the Navy, 22 years in uniform, 17 years with Navy Region Southwest. Navy Region Southwest is kind of the shore infrastructure for the Navy in California and Nevada. We have ownership of the Fleet Weeks that are in California. Now the 2 best Fleet Weeks.
Of course.
I thought you were going
Number
to say
2, San Francisco Fleet Week. Sorry for those from San Francisco listening. Number 1, LA.
Oh, there we go.
I thought you were
right.
going to say the Fleet Weeks in California and Nevada, and I was going to try to chase that one.
Where are the ships in Nevada?
Right?
Well, they fly out of Nevada. Don't they have aircraft carriers at Nellis?
Could be.
Sorry.
Did we learn that from Gallup?
Yeah, we heard that from Gallup poll.
Most people polled in 2019 thought that aircraft carriers belong to the Air Force.
Correct. Yeah, we heard that.
So they need to be corrected that the Navy has an Air Force, but the Air Force does not have a Navy.
Nice.
So
Well, yeah. Hopefully they don't have a Navy. We never know. I think Army has the biggest floating. Don't they have the most floating vessels? I think I heard at one time.
the Corps of Engineer.
I don't know.
Yeah, they like to.
I mean, they're counting barges and docks and everything all at the same
Rowboats
time.
and
But
They like
everything
to
else.
trot out that they have a bigger Navy than the Navy, but we could sink them all at once. So that would be fun. One fell swoop.
So how many years have you been doing Fleet Weeks? And
Oh boy. So as a young sailor, was in for maybe 3 years. My first Fleet Week was San Francisco Fleet Week, and did several after that. My first LA Fleet Week was not the first LA Fleet Week, which was 2016. It was the second one, 2017. That's when you and I met.
Oh, that's right.
2017. Yeah. So Navy Region Southwest, we have the responsibility for the relationships with the cities and with the ports, and that's why we have the responsibility for the Fleet Weeks. So it's a long process. It's a year-long process just to do LA Fleet Week. We start in January, and we have the Fleet Week Summit. We bring all the Fleet Weeks from the West Coast down, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, LA. We all sit down. We all compare notes. What are our goals for the year? What are the messages that we're trying to get? What do our Fleet Week partners want to do? What does the port want to do? And then we move forward and we start our weekly conversations on what Fleet Week is going to look like. And it's become a year-round process.
I personally liked it when we inundated you with 2 fleet weeks at the same time, just to watch the exhaustion of how much you work. So what's your average day over a fleet week?
Well, actually, we had 3 fleet weeks, if you remember, because we had San Diego.
Oh, yeah, that's
we
true.
had San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And it was literally one after the other, separated by either 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So we would start with Labor Day with LA, then we would move to Columbus Day with San Francisco, and then we would move to San Diego for Veterans Day. And my team is me and my chief, 2 people. So what would normally happen, and Jonathan can attest to this is we would be in LA working LA Fleet Week as it's happening, and all of the pre-panic from San Francisco, we would just be getting inundated calls. What do we do? What do we do about this? What do we do? We'd get through that. We'd move up to San Francisco, and while we're in San Francisco, we'd get all the month before pre-panic from San Diego. Same thing. What do we do? What do we do?
I cannot imagine. I have often described our organization as we spend half the year preparing for Fleet Week and half the year recovering from it.
Yeah, insane. And so now, we've moved for a few reasons. We moved LA from Labor Day to Memorial Day. I can't tell you how happy I am about that.
The weather's sure nice.
The weather's so good.
That is the biggest. So that's the number one reason. The number 2 reason is I'm going to get some sleep between now and San Francisco Fleet Week in October, right? So
we can turn up another Fleet Week if you'd like.
Yeah. Will that help you?
How about on the East Coast? How about maybe the Gulf? I don't know. Maybe Fleet Week Alaska. That sounds great.
Pretty much anywhere but here.
Exactly.
Fleet Week Vegas, you got Nevada.
That's true. You have Nevada. We could do that.
Yeah, Fleet Week Vegas would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how we pull that one off.
You can get assets onto
Get a
Lake
really
Mead,
big trailer.
I was going to say throw a couple of, riverine boats in the pond at
You could get jet
the
skis out
Bellagio.
there.
Pond is
Where's
the
the
right
jet
word.
ski Navy?
If there was a Fleet Week Alaska, I would love to go to that. And that's, let me stress, go to that, not work it, but just go.
We could do one in Lake Havasu or something.
Yeah.
When the London Bridge is falling down, we bring boats out there. That may work. So what would be, when you look at the Fleet Weeks, what's your favorite year of Fleet Weeks so far at LA? We're not going to even look at San Francisco because, as we know, well, you said we're the favorite Fleet Week. I just want to let the San Francisco planners know. You hear that?
Because I know they're listening.
I know they're listening. You hear that?
Love you
Although
guys.
I know at the end of October you're going to be the favorite Fleet Week. So I know how
Louis,
this all
Diana,
works.
you're both awesome.
Yeah, we love you, Louis, Diana, but we got it on radio now. So, what would be your favorite year of LA?
That's
and
hard
why?
to say for different reasons. I mean, this year was nerve-wracking. I don't know that I can say. Maybe in 6 months I'll be able to look back and say, oh, 2022 was a great year. And it was a great year in that we all worked so hard last year, and we got right up to Fleet Week. I mean, we were a couple of weeks out when we had to cancel. That was really and I never imagined how depressed I would be that I wasn't actually going to be away from home for 9 days. Like, you don't have to go. You're not going to be working your butt off. You're not going to be losing, a week of sleep. But it was depressing. And we worked really hard last year.
It really was. It was for everybody.
Yeah.
On the team.
Hell of a letdown.
So I think we're all really, really tired now because we just went through a really rough week. And Jonathan, I know you and I were at the ship here every morning at 3:30, and not getting to bed until midnight. So I'm getting a little old for that. It's not an old man's game, right? As I look around the room. With 1 or 2 exceptions,
Captain
it looks like
Roundup.
it is an old man's game.
I was going to say, I'm feeling kind of called out.
And
We do have to
moving
say,
We are protected.
we are the protected class, Kyle. Do not pick on this
I was
side of the
gonna say,
room.
I can't pick on anybody anymore.
I think
Oh,
Kyle's
man.
the only one who's not protected.
Yeah, he's the
From
only one
anything.
that's not protected over there. So you can't
maybe
pick on
in
this side.
6 months I'll be able to look back and go, wow, that was a great year. But I'm so tired right now, I don't even know. I have great memories of the Jack Ryan year.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
man.
was a
Yeah.
really
That was an
fun
amazing
year.
year.
I mean, we worked just as hard. And I'm sure if you would ask me this question the last day of 2018 Fleet Week, I might have had the same answer I'm giving now. But looking back, that was a great, fun year. A lot of the best memories I have of any Fleet Week were from that year. Just a lot of fun. The sailors had a great time. And that, it always comes down to, and you've heard me, Jonathan, say this so many times over the weekend. I don't care about anything that happens as long as the Marines and sailors are having a good time. I'm a retired enlisted guy. That's what's important to me. So for the admirals and the generals and the captains and the colonels that are coming up here, don't care about you. Just do not care. You know what?
We make them wait
You
in
need
the
to be
line.
at this event. Here's the time you need to be there. You need to get yourself there. You're an adult. This is what I need you to say when you're there. This is who I need you to meet. Have a great time. I'm concerned about the sailors and Marines. Are they able to get to where they're going? Do they have places to go? Do they have things to do while they're here? And are they safe, and are they acting smartly?
Oh, no, hang on.
Yeah.
No, my very
I have
first
to ask these questions.
my very first Fleet Week I was actually stationed here on Iowa, and we did New York Fleet Week in 1988. And the Navy had just announced that they were going to home port the battleship in the city of New York for the first ship that would be stationed there since World War II. That will ruin a young man of 18 on uniformed liberty in New York when they think that the ship is going to be home ported there. And I had great memories of Fleet Week. I had no idea the amount of effort that went into it.
Yeah.
So what do you have, Captain Roundup?
Well, I was going to ask how you approach each of your different Fleet Weeks, because from what we've heard, we met with Diana from San Francisco. Every Fleet Week has a little bit of a different flavor. So when you're planning and going through it, how are you putting that together that makes it so different?
So that's a great question. If we look at the difference between LA and San Francisco Fleet Weeks, the biggest difference is when a ship pulls into San Francisco, they're right downtown. They walk off the ship, and there are neighborhoods, Fisherman's Wharf, Pier 39.
Fisherman's Wharf?
Right there.
Nice.
You walk a little bit up the hill, and you're in North Beach, which is the Italian section of San Francisco. Incredible restaurants, incredible bars up there. If you go a little bit to the right from North Beach, you're in Chinatown. I mean, they're within a 10-minute walk
over there. There's even an In-N-Out.
Yeah,
which is critical when you've been out at sea for a while.
Exactly. So for San Francisco, we don't have to worry too much about making sure that there are things for sailors to do. They're going to find their own things to do. It's just what it is. Much like New York, also. New York is Fleet Week is the same way. You pull in, and you've got New York City right there. So here, we're a little removed from LA. We've got Long Beach right here, but we're far enough away where we just can't, throw. How many? We have 2,000. We have 2,000 military folks here for Fleet Week. Just can't throw them into Ubers and say go find your own fun. So one of the challenges is to find things for sailors to do. Find somebody to sponsor those things to do, which you guys can speak to. USO is out looking for things to keep them occupied, but also to keep them at work. Because one of the important things that they do is they're going out into the community, and they're feeding homeless. They're helping build Habitat for Humanity homes, and helping the community. So those are the two things that we want to make sure. First, that they are involved and engaged with the community. Second, that they're able to go out and have a good time.
Yeah, I want to shout out. You meant Sailors and Marines. Said Sailors and Marines this year. We do have Army. We have soldiers here as well this year, and you successfully, or whoever successfully convinced Army to enter dodgeball after they were shamed out there.
So that was great.
I think the Marines ended up winning, right?
Yeah, they did. The ones that beat us twice.
The Marines are very good at dodgeball. If you talk
to the Army, they think they won. They think the Marines cheated.
We have a lot of spectators that can attest.
Fox has the tape. I guess we'll have to look at it to see if that is in fact true. But yeah,
they throw the challenge flag.
That's what I asked.
Yeah. So you bring up two things: the fact that the Army did participate this year, which is incredible, and it's something that I've been pushing for a few years. It is Fleet Week is a celebration of the sea services. But so what? Like, we're all brothers and sisters in arms, and a Purple Fleet Week to me is great. So been really pushing the Army. They had a few challenges with some events that are very close to Fleet Week here, date-wise. But their calendar opened up, and there was an opportunity. There was a time opportunity and a money opportunity for them to participate. I think they've had a really great time this year, so I think we just might see them back. And they have to come back to defend their
dodgeball.
No, not
Galley
dodgeball.
Wars.
They won Galley Wars. That's right.
They've been wonderful. By the way, did they perform the largest amphibious landing in history?
D-Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the Army, wouldn't it?
Right. I mean, isn't it the largest ever?
Yeah. That would have been Army.
Yeah, so
Well, I
yeah,
guess
they've been wonderful to work with, by the way. They've been just absolutely
Oh, they've been great,
perfect.
and they're loving it. They're having a great time.
Yeah, they really are.
I was really concerned. Now they didn't send a lot of soldiers up. I think they sent up about 35.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
But
They
it's
brought a lot of
something.
toys.
They sent some
Yes,
cool
Good
toys.
they
toys.
sent some big toys. So hopefully they'll come back next year. But every time I go by there, they're all smiles. They're all excited. They're having a great time. This is easy outreach for them. They don't have to do anything. We're bringing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. And I think there's still thousands waiting in line outside
yeah.
on
Yeah,
Harbor,
I'm sure there
on
are.
Harbor Boulevard right now.
By the way,
I was up at the National Cemetery earlier doing a wreath laying, and it took me 30 minutes to get back into the parking lot and onto the footprint. I have never seen the line like that on the last day of Fleet Week. It's amazing.
I've never heard so much good, really positive feedback too from the Marines and the sailors out there. It's amazing. I was talking to Major Fernandez yesterday, who brought down the 11th MEU, and he said everybody was just having a ball out there. You know, tons of people, a lot of great interaction. It was just perfect.
Yeah. So I've been begging both the COs and the CMCs and the command sergeant majors, please tell me what complaints you're getting. I want to know what complaints you're getting. Like, don't feel like you have to say, oh no, everything's great. I want to know so we can fix it for next year. Right.
That's super important too. I'm retired chief. I know you're retired enlisted, as you said. We've all ended up with mandatory fun events before, and what you don't want is people just kind of chewing on it as, well, I got to be here. And it's nice to see the smiles. It is really good to get the feedback that the sailors and Marines and in the Army are out there having a good time.
Yeah. And between USO and Fleet Week, they've had some really great fun opportunities. I've heard really good things about the Magic Castle. I've never been myself. I've never been.
Magic Castle's fun.
It is
But I know
amazing.
I know the sailors and Marines that went had a great time. I want to go.
I think we got passes to Magic Castle. We can go again.
We can go again.
Next time you're in
although
LA, let's go up to Magic Castle.
All
I
right.
laundered
I missed my
mine.
invitation.
Sorry.
Aw.
You were
Wah,
busy
wah.
spraying Roundup that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why he's Captain Roundup.
Okay.
We had
Do
an
a lot
episode.
of-
He does
a lot of
chemical-
yard work.
Chemical warfare.
He does a lot of yard work.
Bougainvillea. It's a whole story. Listen to the other podcast. You'll get it.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's Memorial Day Monday, this is normally a day that he would be out doing yard work,
Okay.
removing hills, removing walls, spraying
Bougainvillea.
Roundup.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am protected. I think maybe like I'm just embodying older generation.
Oh, are we going to pull that card now?
Wow. Yeah,
I'm just saying it's
Are you
up
saying-
for consideration.
Are you
He's an
identifying as an old
soul.
man?
I could.
He's an
You're
old
identifying
soul.
as an old man. You're an old soul.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, we'll have to respect that at that point. I don't think
That's a push.
Let's see. Is Captain Roundup? Would that be a? No, I don't see where that would be offensive at all.
Talk to the environmentalists, I guess.
Well, they may come down and crack down in your case. We're not spraying the Roundup. We're just calling you for what it is. You're the one actually pulling the trigger.
I'm not the special
Oh, that
guest here.
sounds
Let's
like-
turn this conversation.
That's starting to sound like a
Let's talk
political
about the
conversation.
weather. Let's talk about
let's-
the weather, because I haven't done a Fleet Week before. One of the reasons I haven't done a Fleet Week is because I was always off doing tall ship festivals on the same weekend, which was Labor Day, and they would be, same thing, on the water in the sun the whole time, temperatures over 100, and it would get miserable. So I think this is really making a difference.
Yes.
We unloaded. I helped unload. I think 9 or more pallets of water, and I think we've gone through one of them.
Yeah, there's a
Wow.
lot still out
People
there.
are not drinking a lot of water.
Yeah. Well, it's not 100 million degrees out there.
Actually, it was 27 pallets total, and we've gone through.
I only unloaded 9.
He was just talking about what
20
he did. This
we
doesn't
probably
matter
got
what
through
we
6.
did.
Can I just
Yeah.
say 2019 was just miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Yeah.
So as we close this out, what would you say, from your opinion, the best thing this year and the worst thing this year?
Let's start with the worst thing first.
The
End on a
worst
positive
thing.
note.
I don't know that I have a worst thing yet. And that's probably going to depend on if I get back to San Diego this week and then I get inundated with complaint emails from the ships or somebody.
That's awful
so
nice.
I don't think that I have a worst thing. I think the worst thing
The
is
worst thing is working
that
with
the
me.
first 4 days I got no sleep at all.
No, the
That
worst
was
thing is working
thing.
with me in the lead up.
On top of no sleep.
But that is
not-
I wouldn't
He
say that
didn't
was.
deny
I
it
wouldn't say
either.
that's the worst thing,
but close to it.
But
That's what happens when you work with an award winner.
Worked it into another one. That's impressive.
Let's wrap this up.
Wow. We need to wrap this up now. Otherwise, he's going to want it presented again.
His head will not go through the door.
he has become that guy.
I'm afraid so.
He has.
All
I
right.
think,
Do
I,
your
think I
best
even
thing.
posted about the ego on
yeah.
social media earlier this week. Somebody's ego. But the best thing, there's so many best things. I got to tell you, one of the favorite things was the dodgeball this year. I had a
It's
blast
fun.
with that.
It was fun.
I kind of regretted turning down the invitation to play with you guys, but
We would have been knocked out. We were knocked out in 30 seconds. So
yeah,
fairly
that was so
painless.
much fun, and I would like to see that expanded next year. I would like to see us do something different with that. You and I talked about some other ideas that we came up with this week.
Team
In about
Iowa.
2 weeks, we might say, "Yeah, what are we crazy?" But we've come up with some good ideas.
We'll play in the shuffleboard
Actually, you
competition
know-
next time.
Let's
Carnival
see.
out there. Yeah.
I'll throw it out to the audience. If you happen to go to Fleet Week podcast at labattleship.com, why don't you if you got some ideas at us,
Yeah.
throw it at us. We've floated everything, in my mind, in which my mind is off right now because it's not in the right place after this. I thought about a bull riding contest because, Army Cavalry's here and they've got
live
those
bull.
really cool Ariat uniforms and the Wrangler jeans, the coolest uniform I've seen
They
all
don't-
year.
They don't ride bulls. You
Well,
don't
but
count.
they probably are pretty good at
Just
riding
saying.
bulls. Those were horses.
I think they were
I get
horses.
they were horses, but they may be able to ride bulls on country music day. So maybe we find competitions that match up to our music days. That could be kind of fun.
Just have
And
somebody
can
on the
we
barrel
have-
of a tank
Mechanical
going up and
bull,
down.
yeah.
Can we just say, can we have Sean Oliu and Cafe Anderson back again next
They
year?
were great.
They were great.
So good.
They were great. Now, what's going to be
Yachtly
interesting?
You
Cruise.
mentioned it. Can I throw a pitch in?
Do
Yeah.
it.
Can we skip Country Day next week or next year?
No, we can't.
No.
And just stick with straight rock and roll?
You lost
No,
it. You
no,
lost
no.
that.
No.
I think what we have in store today is with Yachtly Crew. There's a lot of people that have shown up for Yachtly Crew. We may
Identity
be
Theft
jammed
was
out
so
there.
good. They were so
They were
much
great,
fun.
too.
Yeah, we may be jammed out there with the Yachtly Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, as we're recording this, it is Memorial Day, and as folks are having barbecues across the country and kicking off summer, let's remember what Memorial Day is. It's really to remember those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our freedoms. So, while you're celebrating Memorial Day, please, think about those families that are still wishing they were with their loved ones, and those that really did pay that ultimate price, because we can't forget that on this particular day. Even though we're having fun around Fleet Week, we're going to take a pause and remember that. So I think we'll close this out so we can get back to the footprint and see what's going on out there. Anybody else have any comments? Anybody have comments? Anything to close it out? Cool.
Thanks, Brian, for all
Thanks.
your work.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, God, that took a lot for me to thank you. Wow.
A thank you from an award
Award
winner.
winner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's a
That's
pretty
worth
big
double.
deal. You might want to write that down on your calendar.
It was thank you said?
Would you like me to sign a copy of San Pedro today that's got my face on the front of it?
God.
I'm happy to sign a copy for you if you'd like that.
I've already taken it out to a shop. I'm supposed to pick it up. They made it into a dartboard. It looks pretty cool.
Good.
Hang it right up in my
Very
office
well
there.
done.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think I might sell them, as a matter of fact. Anyone want to buy one?
Put them on eBay.
They'll be back ordered.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to the next podcast.